again, when we're comparing, we look at the front numbers. Those are the same. Then I look and see there's 1, 2, 3 digits. I need to have 1, 2, 3. Guess what I could add on the back of this?
A 0.
A 0. And then all I need to look at is this is 335 and this is 230. 335 is what compared to 230?
5.
Is it smaller or larger?
No, smaller.
235 is what compared to this? It is larger. So the larger one gets 2 dots. The smaller only gets 1. So 13 and 335 thousandths is larger than this one. Then the next one, 5 and 5 are the same. So then I go to see that this has got 1, 2, 3. This should have 1, 2, 3, but it doesn't. What could I add on?
0.
A 0. Then you look at the whole thing. This is 450, and this is 53. So this one is what compared to this one?
Bigger.
It is larger. And I can also look like that first number to the right of the decimal is 4. The first number here is 0. So this one's already larger. It gets 2 dots. This gets 1.
Is it always going to be the decimal after the decimal? Or can it be before the decimal?
It can be before if the numbers are different. But if they're not different, we go on. Like here, let's watch right here. Just one moment, sir. Let's look right here. So I'm going to look at the whole numbers. This has got a 0 in front of the decimal. This has got a 1. Do I have to go any further?
No.
No. 0 is what compared to 1?
Smaller.
It is smaller. In fact, if I made it look like money, this is like 99 cents. This is like $1.07. So 99 cents is smaller. It gets 1 dot. This one gets 2. Then the next one, I just need to look at the front numbers. This is a 3. This is a 13. Guess what? The 3 is what?
Smaller.
It is smaller. Smaller gets 1 dot. This gets 2. So you read these from left to right. 3 and 291 thousandths is less than 13 and 291 thousandths. This one I can also stop at the whole number. This is 152 and 15. 152 is what compared to 15?
Bigger.
Larger, so I don't even need to look at the decimals. It is larger. It gets 2 dots. This one gets 1. This one. Who thinks before we do anything, this one is what compared to this one?
Bigger. Smaller. Bigger.
Well, it kind of deceives your eyes because it looks tinier because there's only 1 2 past the decimal, where this has 3. But now, in that case, if this has 1, 2, 3, I'm going to make this one 1, 2, 3. So this is 50 thousandths. This is only 5. The ones who said this one was smaller is correct. And also, I could go, that's 0. At the tenths, that's 0. But then when I go to the next place value, the hundredths, this has a 5, this has a 0. And 5 then is what?
Bigger.
Is greater than this one. No, I said it back. I think I said this.
You said it backwards.
I said it back. This is 50 cents is greater than 5 cents. So this one is larger.
So we have to add the 0 at the back? Yeah.
I would say most of the time to ensure that you're doing it correctly. Like this one, this has 3 to the right. I'm going to make this 3 to the right by putting a what?
0.
A 0. And then, oh, in fact, I didn't need to do that on this one because if I looked at the whole numbers, 3 is already what compared to 34? Smaller. So it gets 1 dot, this one gets 2. Then this one, 6 and 6 are the same. Oh, who thinks they know the answer to 20? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I think that 6 300.
Okay, Ricardo.
I think they're the same.
Valerie, do you have an idea? Okay, I can, besides adding on zeros, if there's a decimal, I can take off a 0. I can take off a 0. Isn't 6.8 and 6.8 the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Or I could have added 2 on, and then they would have been the same. They are equal. Then this one, 12 and 12 are the same. So now I do need to consider the decimal. And I'm going to, who thinks they know, is this one smaller or larger? Shout it out.
Larger.
It's smaller. Okay, and let's see why. Okay, well, no, look at the 0. Here's a 0 in the tenths, and there's a 2 in this one. So if I have a 0 in the tenths and a 2 here, this one would be bigger. But, so you can really see it, this has got 3 digits to the right, and I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. What should I put on that second and third spot?
0.
And then underline it, that's 84, that's 200. So 84 is what compared to 200?
Big. Smaller.
What? Smaller, people. So it is smaller. Then, let's look at that 22. It looks terrible, but it's not. 254 is the same thing as 254. 609 is the same thing as 609. I don't need to look at that. In fact, this one, I'm going to look at this next digit. 7 and 9. This one is what compared to this one? It is smaller. And I could look at the whole thing. 703 is smaller than 933. So it is smaller. Then this one, I do need to look at the whole numbers. It's got 1, 2, 3 in the whole number place. It's got 1, 2, 3. So 65 and 65 million. But then this is what compared to this one?
Bigger.
800,000 is bigger compared to this one. So it, again, 2 dots for the bigger, 1 for the smaller. Yes, sir. What's that? I do. I mean, honestly, I don't anymore because I know my signs perfectly. Like I'm very fluent, like I am in Chinese, like I'm not. But no, my daughter knows Chinese, I don't. But anyway, girls and boys. But somebody was saying an alligator eat the bigger number. We don't do, I mean, we're 5th graders, come on. And then I hear 8th graders saying that too. It's like, no, we're not, okay, girls and boys, let's not interrupt. Let's go on. So let's go ahead and move on. Now we're going to write least to greatest and greatest to least. We're going to do these 3 least to greatest, and then we'll do the next 3 from greatest to least. And we're not going to rewrite them. We'll do the numbering form to make it neater. So this is the from the least. I know that this 40 and this 40 are the 2 least. So those are going to be my number 1 and 2. Who thinks they know the first one? Is it the first 40 or the second 40? Caleb, what? Which one's my number 1? The first 40 or the second 40? Okay. This is 2 places. This is 2 places. So this is 6, like 6 cents. This is 60 cents. Which one's smaller, the first or the second? The first. So this is our number 1. This would have to be then our number 2, and the one with 46 is our number 3. Okay. Did you have a question? Okay. Right. Then let's look at this one. Who thinks they know the smallest? What do you think, Allie?
I think the second.
Wow, we need work.
No, not this one. Like the one in the middle.
That
Like, you
means.
want me to compare the last one
Okay,
first one?
listen carefully. I can put a 0 because this has 3 to the right, this only has 2, this has 3. But I need you to see something else. I'm going to underline the first 2. Put the white out away, please. Put the white out. No, get it off the desk. Thank you. Keep it off the desk. Don't bring it into this class. Thank you. No, I need you to listen. Everybody. There's zeros in the front, so I can ignore those. But let me just underline the first 2, because this is another way to do it. That's 83, that's 85, that's 81. Which of those that I underlined is the smallest?
The last one.
The last one. That is the smallest. Can you see the next smallest then?
83.
83, and then the 85. So let me now go ahead and put a 0 also. So now it's 831, 850, and 819. So this is still the number 1. 831 is the number 2, and 850 is the number 3. So let's look at this one. Can you tell the smallest? Valerie, what do you think? The middle one. In fact, let's take the whole number and the first. 68, 60, 68. She's absolutely right. That is the smallest. Then when we go to these two, because this is 3 digits, I should probably add what to this one? 1 0. So this is 800, 808. Which is the next smallest? The 800. So that's the number 2, and this is the number 3. Then on the next row, we're going to do from greatest to least. All right. And by the way, on a test, you know, if you want to do, it's usually easier to go from least to greatest. You can always go least to greatest and then switch it. So this would be our number 1, our number 2, our number 3, from greatest to least. But let's go ahead and look at this. Greatest to least, and I'm going to take the first 2 because there's several different ways you can do it. 37, 30, 30. Which is our greatest? Everybody shout it out. The first one, the 37. So we're reversing it. So this is our greatest. And then, oh, now I'm going to pick up 3 numbers. 307, 303. Which is our next greatest?
The middle one.
People, the last one. This is 307. This is 303. And now, again, somebody said, do I have to put zeros? I would say yes, because some of you aren't getting it that way. So now this is 70, and this is 37. Which is our next greatest? I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. We're going, I'm sorry. Let me see. We're going greatest to least.
Oh, middle.
Greatest to least. So our next greatest is this one. And our smallest one would be this one. Then. Now, I don't know which one is the greatest, but I think I see the smallest. I've got a 12, 12, and a 1. Which is the smallest?
The last one.
The 1. So this is our number 3. Okay, and now I'm going to try this again. If it doesn't work, we'll add a 0. I'm going to take the first 4 numbers. 1202, 1200. Which is the next biggest? The first or the second? The first. 1202, and then this is the next one. Again, I could have also added a 0. So that would be 20, and that would just be 2. So this is our number 2, and this is our number 3.
You have 3 at
Yeah.
This is our, so this is our number, this is our number 1. Our number,
That's the
okay,
the
1,
middle one's number 2.
2. Thank you. It's hard going greatest to least. I get confused. Then, I already know which one's the greatest. Shout it out.
The middle one.
The 45, people. 4, 4, and 45. You look at the numbers in front. So this is our greatest, 45. Who thinks they know the next greatest?
4.5.
Which one did you say? You're right. Because this, if I take the next 2 numbers, 45, 44. Isn't 45 greater than 44? So, or I could have put 2 zeros, so I have 3 here and 3 here, 405 and 500. 500 would have been the next greatest, and this would have been our smallest. All right. Okay, this is going to be a super easy assignment today because I want to start you on finishing your test. I don't have an answer bank, but I think you can do this. You're going to do this one page 1 through 12. Let me raise this up a little bit so you can see the whole thing. You're doing 1 through 12. Again, and this should be easy. You're going to put the least here. But you actually have to write the numbers to the greatest. So the least to the greatest. And again, you should see if you could do it with the first 2 digits, but if you can't, add on zeros. And that is it, people. So I'm going to close this up. You can